So we're going to go upper body focus today. And as we're going through this series of stretches and strengthening exercises, I want you to think a little bit about your body position. So having your feet, wide enough apart that you have a comfortable base, but also thinking about the angle through your pelvis. Are you tipped really far forward and you've got a big arch in your lower back? Are you feeling kind of slouchy from all the desk work? See if you could straighten up a little bit just to be the longest, tallest version of yourself. Almost like somebody has one of your hairs, the very top of your head, and they've pulled you just a tiny bit taller. So getting that nice, long, tall spine is awesome because it means that our core muscles are actually supporting our spine a little bit better. From there, we also want to think about the signals that our body is giving us. So if you were to feel pain as you're doing this, taking a pause, making a modification so that you aren't hurting anymore, don't try and power through anything. Call a professional, get some help with that, and then go to the root cause and feel better. So with that said, we're going to kick off just warming up our shoulders with some internal and external rotation. So that means I'm going to have my hands out in front of me today, palms facing each other for a somewhat neutral position here. And then external rotation would be when my palms are all the way up. And if you can go farther, go a little bit farther. And then internal rotation will be palms down. And then as you can go farther, keep going further. So it's going to be relevant to the individual how far you go, but these are the directions that we're going. Get somewhat neutral. Internal rotation. You can see my internal rotation is way better than my external rotation. So just going back and forth here. As you come into this position and as you play around with it, you might notice that your shoulders want to come up towards your ears a little bit, or your head wants to come forward a little bit. Resist those urges because we want to keep that long, tall spine. We want to keep the shoulders away from the ears. Beautiful. Keep going back and forth between the internal rotation and the external rotation positions in your shoulders here, but switch it up. So that now we have our palms, they would be facing each other, but they're further apart. And now I'm going external rotation and internal rotation with my arms out to the sides. Just back and forth here. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit of warming happening through your shoulders, maybe across your upper back. If you're feeling it too strongly coming up into your neck, take a little mini rest. Drop those shoulders away from the ears and come back to it. Back and forth here. Now this might feel a little bit strange. It looks so easy. Why is it not? Or it might be super easy for you. Different people are built a little bit differently. Awesome. Now as you're doing this, I want you to do externally rotate, bring your hands out to the sides. Internally rotate, so that means bringing your palms together and then palms down and then keep going as far as you can. Exhale. So internally rotate, externally rotate, inhale, internally rotate, exhale. Sort of like we're doing a crazy cat-cow. Externally rotate, inhale, internally rotate, exhale. And if that's too much to coordinate, that's okay. Just put your hands on your knees and go ahead for a cat-cow. As you externally rotate and inhale the next time, think about opening up through the front of your chest, reaching your chin up towards the ceiling. And then as you externally rotate, think about tucking your pelvis under, tucking your chin, for rounding through your spine as well. Externally rotate and internally rotate. I also encourage you to go with your own breath here at your own pace. So if you want to hang out in one position and take 2 breaths, that's okay. There's no breath police that's going to come for you. Sometimes it can be nice to settle into the position. And then internally rotate. Do you want to take 2 breaths here? The world's your oyster. You could do whatever you want. Just do it respectfully to your body. Beautiful. Arms down at the sides. Let's do a few shoulder rolls here. Nice. And now we're going to do a little bit of side bending. So before we were warming up the shoulders and moving our spine forward and back a little bit. Now we're going to step out to the sides. We've got a wider base, and I'm going to reach up with my left arm and over to get a comfortable side bend and back. Just going back and forth, alternating sides. And as I'm going for this side bend, I'm aiming to stay in between two perfect panes of glass, one in front, one behind. So I'm not twisting forward, I'm not twisting back. We'll get to twisting later because it feels so good, but it's also nice to isolate for control. Now, as we're going back and forth side to side, it's a little bit easier on our core muscles because we aren't hanging out at the end of the range of motion for too long. We're just going in, just sort of toe dipping, going in and coming out. Go back and forth a few more times, trying to get a little bit deeper into the position and then coming out. Experimenting with how deeply you feel comfortable going into this position. And if you want to be supporting yourself with your non-reaching hand on your leg, that is completely fine. A little support can be a wonderful thing at the end of the range of motion. Next thing we're going to do, if you feel comfortable and like this is a good idea for your body, is we're going to hang out to one side for a little while, just taking 3 deep breaths here. If it's not a good idea for your body, you would keep alternating. So I'm deep breathing here, inhaling all the way, thinking about expanding the ribs on the side of my body that I'm stretching. And then exhaling really completely. As I'm doing this, I'm going up and over, almost like there's a gigantic yoga ball right here. So I'm going up and over rather than collapsing into the side. So if I'm collapsing into my, let's say I'm bending this direction now. If I'm collapsing into the side, it looks like this. If I'm going up, let me do it this way, collapsing, up and over. So collapsing, up and over. Hopefully you can see the difference. Let's hang out on this side for a little while. So now I'm bending to the right, aiming to have a lateral bend through my spine here. I can, of course, include my neck if it feels good. And I'm taking those really deep breaths. Thinking about expanding the ribs. And then as I exhale, can I reach a little bit further? Beautiful. One last deep breath here. And come back up. So now we're going to go for the twist. And we're going to twist in a particular way today. So we're going to start off with a moving twist. So I'm going to have my hands in front of me. I'm going to draw such a big circle with my arm that I have no choice but to twist through my torso. My hips will stay facing front. And then I'll go around the clock, reach for the ground too, because that feels nice, and back. Another really nice big arm circle, opening up as I reach, reaching for the floor. See if you can reach a little bit further, keeping the hips facing forward, but opening up a little bit further by reaching towards the wall behind you a little bit more. Nice. And last one, drawing that gigantic circle with your arm. Spending time in every angle here. Lovely. And then we'll just aim for the other side. So hands forward, and I'm taking my right arm now, and I'm reaching up, and I'm reaching back, aiming to keep the hips facing forward as much as possible. You don't have to be perfect. In fact, being human, it's not really in our nature to be perfect. If it feels good to look at your hand with your eyes, so you're getting a twist through your neck as well, great. If that doesn't feel good, you don't have to. Reaching up and reaching back. Lovely. Go ahead and get in one last repetition. Do it slowly. Do it really mindfully. Beautiful. All right, so now we're going to hang out in our twist position for a little bit longer. We did the active twist where we're using our own muscles to work in and out of the twist. So now we're going to think about every time we inhale, we lengthen through our spine. Every time we exhale, we twist a little bit more. So I'll start off twisting to the left because that's what I did first before. And inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist and hold. I'm going to inhale, lengthen again, exhale, twist a little bit further. And this time, as I inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist, I can choose if I'd like to use my hands to help me into the twist just a little bit further. Don't like crank on your spine or anything like that. Just a little helping hand here. Now I'm including my neck in this twist because it feels great to me, but you don't have to. Beautiful. Let's come back and we'll do the other side. So now my hands are off my hips again. They're out in front of me. And we're going to inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist a little bit more. Glorious, glorious twists. They feel so good. And then on this last one, I have the choice of using my hands to help me into it a little bit further. Going to inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. Just using my hands as a helper. Wonderful. Coming back to center here, take a moment, see if you need a little wiggle break, if everything's feeling great or something needs a little relaxation, little wiggle. Sometimes people start to feel it in their lower back or in their shoulders. So taking a little self-check and then respond to the signals that your body's giving you is beautifully respectful. We're going to take care of our hands next. So to start off, I'm going to have my hands in front of me. I guess, let's see, this angle might be good for today. And I'm going to have my hands in a prayer kind of a position here with the palms touching. I'm going to start off with my hands up high, and then I'm going to lower them until I'm getting a pleasant stretch, wherever that pleasant stretch is for you. And I could play with angles here. So tipping the fingers towards my body or away from my body, tipping into the left side a little bit more or the right side. You could draw a circle if you'd like, whatever feels good to you. And then whenever you're done with this position, we're going to do the same thing, but with just the fingers touching. So the fingers are going to be touching all the way down to this joint here. And you're going to start off with your hands up high again, and you're going to bring your hands down until you get to that pleasant stretch. From here, you can play with how close together your palms are and how far apart they go. Experimenting there to see if there's a really perfect sweet spot that feels especially good for you. You tip the fingers towards and away again. Tip into one side and the other. Nice. And now we're going to make fists and we're going to do a little counter stretch. So with my two hands in fists, I'm going to bring my fist towards my forearm and then back as close as I can towards the back of my forearm here, my knuckles towards, sorry, I'm trying to make it so you can see, and My skin doesn't contrast well with the wall here. Draw some circles with your fists. And then reverse the direction of the circle. Beautiful. We're going to end with one deep breath here. You could do any variety of deep breath that you like. I really find it exhilarating to do these volcano breaths, so I tend to aim for them. Inhaling my arms all the way up overhead, reaching up as tall as I possibly can. Holding for a second, and then exhaling my arms down to just shake it all out. Full and complete release and exhale. Thank you all so much for joining me. You've been fabulous as usual. Take care, everyone.